everything is open here today at 1:30.
Alright, we have made it. Stop one. Oh, crazy horse. Oh, bring your camera.
That would be crazy. So now what's that? What's that? Been on my phone. It's off.
Lo que supuestamente iba a ser mi
we have a history, we have a connection to this land. And we have 7 sacred sites all throughout the Black Hills. One of those sites is right north of us called Black Elk Peak. This is the highest point in the region. If you hike up Black Elk Peak during the springtime, that is when our ancestors go up here to welcome back Wakia Oyate, the rain that brings, that replenishes the medicines that are here in the Black Hills each and every year. If you hike up Black Elk Peak today, you can see it to 4 different states. But our people here historically, we have this connection. We wanted to protect and preserve this land. And so we talk about these things. We share what Northern Cheyenne and the many tribes that live throughout this land. And we love this land so much that in 1851, during the Oregon Trail, during the Lewis and Clark expeditions, we traveled to Fort Laramie, Wyoming, the leaders of our people here, and they negotiated the Fort Laramie Treaty, which preserved this land for our people, east bank of the Missouri River, down to the North Platte River into Nebraska, over to the Bighorn Mountains into Wyoming, and back up through the Cannonball River in North Dakota, a huge area of land that was preserved and protected for our people. This lasted until 1868, then the Fort Laramie Treaty was reduced to half, until 1872. That is when the arrival of General George Armstrong Custer. Custer found gold in the Black Hills. The gold rush began. You could not keep the people out. And so this led to the Black Hills Act, which took away the Black Hills and gave money in exchange. But to this day, our ancestors have never signed that agreement. We've never taken the money to sell the Black Hills, because how could you sell something so beautiful, so important to the creation of our ancestors and our people? But nonetheless, Custer wanted to be the next president of the United States, and so he came through. But by this time, ladies and gentlemen, in the late 1800s, there was less than 1,000 buffalo left, and out of the 50 to 100 million of the indigenous peoples, only 250,000 left. Our people almost extinct during this time. So Crazy Horse, Tashunke Witko, Sitting Bull, Inkpa Duta, the Northern Cheyenne, the Arapaho, they stood up together because as Custer was coming through, our people they were facing danger. They said enough of our women and children are gone. And so June 25th, 1876, they met Custer at the Battle of Little Bighorn, also known as the Battle of Greasy Grass, and they were victorious that day. And so we're always thankful for Tashuke Witko. We're always thankful for the leaders of our people, for their fortitude and their bravery. A matter of fact, 25% of all indigenous peoples in the early 1900s, the highest per capita out of any race, volunteered for World War I, using our languages to develop codes that saved the lives of many U.S. soldiers and our allies. The most famous were Navajo code talkers, but we had code talkers from the Lakota Nation as well, 30 different tribes. For their service, they were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. Let's give them a round of applause, the code talkers. When our ancestors moved to the reservation, our lives changed forever. But the reservations are not traditional to our people. But as resilient people, we continue to survive and evolve and move through life. But early on, a lot of the churches came to the reservation. A lot of missionaries came to the reservation, and they wanted to help the people. They wanted to help teach the English language and eventually tried to translate the Bible into our language. Early on, they asked the elders, they asked grandfather to come to church. So grandpa started to go to church all the time, and he would go there. Next thing you know, a couple months go by, in our language we say, Grandpa, do you understand English now? And Okana, he said, no. So we said, well, how come you go to church every time they have service? And in our language, Grandpa said, I go to church because they're serving a lot of good food over there. He said, they're always talking about this one man. Someday I would like to meet him. The whole world talks about him. They're always saying the Pope. We said, Grandpa, the Pope, he's going to be in Denver, Colorado. We can take you. So he said, how? Pack up the teepee. Let's go. So we went to Denver that time. We set up the teepee. And there was people coming from all over the place for a chance to see the Pope. It was packed. And everybody was there, and everybody was waiting in anticipation. Next thing you know, we looked up, and you could see the Pope mobile coming down the road, and the Pope was waving to the people. And the top of the teepee poles must have caught the Pope's attention. Because when the Pope mobile got in front of the teepee, the whole procession stopped. And the Pope, he stood up, and he looked at Grandpa. And Grandpa, he stood up, and he looked back at the Pope. And after a little bit here, the Pope, he went like this to Grandpa. Everybody was quiet. After a little bit in our language, Grandpa, he said, I'm ready to go home now. So we packed up and went home. When we got home, Grandma, she came outside. She was excited. Honey, how was your trip? And Grandpa, in our language, he started talking and he said, honey, I went all the way to Denver, Colorado, and we set up the teepee. When I got there, the Pope mobile drove down the road and they stopped, and the Pope looked at me. And when the Pope was looking at me, he told me, take down your teepee and get out of here. And Grandma said, eh.
Oh, it's like Colorado.
It's the carved arm thing because I've done that.
Oh, that looks amazing.
You came all this way. You should have at least one shot.
Yeah, we're here from Raleigh, North Carolina. Texas. Oh, nice. We went to Texas and then we now they're flanking. Yes. We flew into Texas, then into Denver, and then we drove to Casper, Wyoming. What? Oh, whatever.
Yeah, we flew into Colorado and we did Colorado, Wyoming. We're here in South Dakota. We're badges.
Yes, scout too.
Awesome. My son, he got his eagle. Yeah, so yes. Well, you're gonna
Yes, I am.
but yeah, anytime we were in a national park,
There's a ton of people here. What do you think, Greyson?
Thank you so much for all the pictures.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we want to go to the museum.
You can't take the elevator.
As you can tell, they did not complete that.
Who's this?
I like it. It was a beloved and favorite subject of government.
Ortland dramatically changed the form and style of the model 9 times to allow for cracks and changes in conception. A stone sculptor's greatest challenge is to avoid cutting away too much rock, since once it is removed, it is impossible to replace.
Ghosts.
There.
So many people up there, Greyson. So many people.
Let's go to the library and look at that book. Yeah. These cups, there's numbers.
Yeah, so.
Anything that goes along with those, because it's
Here.
That was good. Thank you. You guys want me to take a picture of you guys?
Thank you.
There's some blasting cab marks.
Yeah, it feels clear that we can sit on
Well, they just catch some lady up there, not telling.
Let's see what's in the cave. The cave of oneness. Oh, geez, there it is. I see Washington.
It's just a dead end.
Alright, so if you want to see more vlogs from us here at Culz Paranormal, a link will appear here shortly. If you want to see just more videos from us at Culz Paranormal, a link will appear right here. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe.
Buffalo, we used every part of the buffalo for something. At one time, there was 30 to 60 million buffalo that lived here. Some of the early settlers said when they came across the first buffalo herds, they had to wait 8 days for one buffalo herd to pass. About 80,000 buffalo in one herd. So we got food, clothing, and shelter all from the buffalo. That's why I like Walmart today, because it's historically in us to get everything at one place.